This is Athena Jezik. Glad to have you back. I hope you enjoyed the previous videos we've been putting out. Today I want to just show you too how to work just the shoulders and isolating the shoulders. That's another problem people come in with. There's a lot of different issues with shoulders. Shoulders have a huge range of motion, so there's a lot of stuff that goes on. The most interesting part about this is the scapula, which is here, is not attached to the skeleton. It works itself in to the clavicle, and then it's attached at the sternoclavicular junction, which is where the sternum and the clavicles come together in the front of the body. So this is all held together with muscles, so needless to say, it's going to be very tight at times, particularly when you're having to lift things, carry things, work with your muscles. And then when we sit at computers a lot, we tend to round a little bit more. That's an uncomfortable position, but that will begin to round. The spine will get weaker doing that because there's a lot of weight that's pulling forward. So you want to be mindful of that so you don't double over too much, because that kind of closes off the heart area and the lungs and all of that. So it's just something to think about as you are thinking about your alignment. It's very important to have good alignment. So I'm going to be using, again, the True Hemp Science product. It's partly like a lotion and partly like a oil. I really like the product, and I like the other products that are put out by this company. Some of the higher quality that I've worked over the years. This is particularly nice lotion. So we have the trapezius muscle, which runs pretty much like this, and then the rhomboids underneath it. So oftentimes if you're going to be going over, like working the trapezius, but you feel something happening underneath it, the rhomboid, sometimes you'll think that there's a tension or something or a knot, and you have to be mindful that there's rhomboids underneath it which go across this way, and then there's the levator scapula muscle that ties from here to the head, and that lifts and lowers the scapula, like shrugging the shoulders. Okay, so to start out, I'm going to go from the neck and then work pulling outward along the back side of the well, I'm not really on the scapula, but I'm on the edge of the scapula, and that's what I'm feeling here. And I'm feeling for that levator scapula muscle, and I take it all the way out to the corner of the shoulders, right about there. So you just want to pull that, and what you're doing is checking for tension, checking for anything like that might be happening, and the position of the scapula. And just keep pulling from side to side, going as deep as the muscles are requesting it. Don't force your way in any deeper, and you'll find that there's just a lot of interesting feelings that you have with doing this particular technique, because there's so many other muscles involved with the movement of the shoulders. Okay, now going up and along the scapula, and here's where it's kind of tight, right through here. This is probably more rhomboid than anything. And then you come around and you want to, one of the things when you're doing massage therapy is you want to make sure that you go to the ends of the muscles. You know, go all the way origin, insertion, origin, whichever direction you're going, or whichever way that muscle is, because it feels much more complete. Now my thumbs here are just going up the scapula, and there's a muscle there, a couple of muscles that, you know, the shoulders have to move the arms, and they partly work with the head, and well, it's along the spine, so they're involved in lower body, lower spinal, you know, dysfunction as well. And then I'm going to go right along the scapula here and check that. And then I want to go to the subscapularis, which is a muscle underneath the scapula. So there's different ways of doing it. Some people pick up the arm and put it on their back, but I don't like that because sometimes people are a little frozen in the shoulder and you can hurt them. And also some people have issues of being bound or tied, or just being held with their arms behind their back, and that's a very vulnerable feeling. So I just lift the muscle up, let the arm stay flat, and just lift that up, because you can still push on that shoulder socket and get the scapula up there. And that's enough to really get in there to find what you need. Some scapulas barely lift because the muscles are so strong, so that they don't. And there's a little crepitus going on right about the levator muscle. That's where it always is. The crepitus is always at the levator muscle. And nothing to really worry about that. And then you can kind of wiggle your way in a little bit more. And you can go around to the other side as well of the scapula, because here's the scapula. So you can go into the other side of it as well. And a little shaking is kind of good for the scapula because it's so muscular. There's so much there. Okay, and then we just stretch it back down. And just continue, and then working in, feeling how the spine is, and going all the way down to the tip of the trapezius, which is into the thoracic vertebrae, and feel that that's nice and long and very pliable, because there's a lot of attachments that move into that area, as the muscles do attach into the spine. And then you can press out that way. Just let it kind of do what it wants to do. Pay attention to where the tension is. Pay attention to anything that feels that it's not nice and pliable and kind of liquidy, not more jelly-like than liquid. And then come down onto the shoulder itself and work into the shoulder socket area. You can go and kind of, I'll show you on the other side, but you can kind of get underneath that front part of the arm. You've got the teres major, minor, and so you've got muscles that are attached in the front that also work the shoulder. And some of them come around the back. Plus you have arm muscles going up into the area. And then you can also dig a little bit deeper along here, along the edge. The scapula's here, so I'm in this muscular area right along the scapula. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the other side. So here we're going to start and pulling along the this is basically the trapezius, and there's the little levator scapula, and there is a little bit of crepitus there. So we're going to pull along this way and take that out, all the way out. This muscle here kind of shortens a little. It doesn't go quite as far. It goes to about there. The rest of them go a little bit further. There's a little joint that we can align the sternum, or excuse me, the clavicle with that acromion joint, acromion clavicular joint, but that's something that's a subtle alignment thing, so I won't go into that here. That's in the coursework. And so you just pull along, and you can feel where the muscle is, or where the bone, where the bone is. It's coming along there. Now you want to be sure that you're angling that with the way that the muscle is running, and then going across. Just from the scapula to the spine. And then you can go from the spine to the scapula, which we did just a few minutes ago. It's nice to go both directions. Okay. And then along the scapula, you're going to run it up through here. Now, there's a lot of work that Karina does lifting things, and I can tell where there's a little tension in the shoulders. Not bad. And then you want to curve around because you want to make that feel nice and complete, so don't just stop right there. So it's just nice to take it all the way out. And we're going to do that again. And then we're going to go to the subscapularis. Well, first I guess we should go along the scapula. And feel those muscles there, which are all doing pretty well. There's things going on in it, but it's not anything real critical. It doesn't feel like an injury or a pull or a sprain or a strain. And then you take the hand and lift up that shoulder, put your hand underneath, and you can see how the shoulder is able to just push that scapula up. So you can push the scapula up and then begin to work down underneath it. Now the muscles are usually pretty tight through here. Some people wing up really good. And most people don't, and that's okay. It's just everybody's a little bit different, so you just modify yourself. Now I'm going to go a little deeper, and that's about what we're going to get. You can work it a little bit like this, moving it back and forth. See, I've got my hands kind of pinching that scapula while the shoulder is up. And then you can bounce it a little bit. And pull it a little bit more as you bounce it. Okay, and then let that go. And you can get around the shoulder socket a little better. And it just gets down into the arm, so they all interconnect, so it kind of hard to piecemeal it together. Although when you have just a certain injury that's coming in, where somebody wants you to just work in one area rather than just general relaxation, it's wise to just stay with that and not connect too far out unless it's definitely calling you, like down into the tricep or the bicep. And then you can take the thumbs and stick them underneath this fleshy part. Now, some people are a little ticklish here, so you want to enter into that very slowly, but you can see how much muscle there is there and how much you can manipulate that, which is very good. It helps the shoulder to relax even more. of this you can kind of play with it. There's not really any right or wrong, but there's stuff that works better and stuff that doesn't work as well. So that's what you'll have to gauge yourself with is, are you getting results? Are people just temporarily getting relief, or are they finding that it's really helping a lot? And that's going to all be with your technical skill and what you do know. And of course, it goes deeper than that. It goes into the subtlety of the alignment, and that is another whole area of understanding and work. And the deeper you go, the more you understand, the better your skill level will be. So here we have it. And then just around, check that again. Both directions. And it feels like the shoulders are really nice and pliable now. I don't even feel that crepitus quite like I did at all. The crepitus is, in fact, I don't feel crepitus at all. So that was able to come out through this, able to be relaxed and worked, which is good. Because crepitus is kind of tight, it kind of restricts us. And then to finish, you can just go up to the middle, up through the middle vertebrae. And so just take your hands and just rub it up along the vertebrae, this thoracic vertebrae. And you can break off into the neck here a little bit. And that should be really good. They should feel much, much more relaxed just working it like that. So thank you so much for viewing. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time. Also, give some comments if you like. I love to see the comments. Thank you. I want to invite you to explore my course, The Foundations of Subtle Alignment. It is going to take you beyond the work of massage therapy. It will take you into the world of the subtle anatomy. Misalignment of the subtle structures is often the root cause of chronic pain, injuries, and chronically high levels of stress hormones. These techniques offer profound benefit whether you are working on people with complex issues or not. In this course, you will learn about the subtle anatomy and a protocol for assessing and aligning the subtle structures.